In this class, you'll learn how to show up with confidence in interviews, meetings, negotiations, and high-stakes pitches. First, we're going to learn about the first 5 minutes, how to walk into a room or hop on video and make a killer first impression. Next, we'll learn how to act, move, and speak like a leader. Then we'll learn my 2 secret traits to impact your influence. Next, we'll learn about microexpressions. You'll learn how to decode hidden cues in facial expressions. And then we'll talk about how to lead with your voice. You'll learn how to master your tone, your pitch, and pacing so you sound authoritative and grab people's attention. Next, make body language your superpower. I'll show you how silent cues shape leaders and how they swayed a presidential election. Then, how to be smart with space. And finally, expert powers that you didn't know you have that will make you feel more confident. We're going to meet several students and show how we can up their communication and influence game by looking at their delivery and body language. Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Come on in. You did it. Whether you're an introvert or extrovert, whether you're a professional, an entrepreneur, or a side hustler, this course is for you and can help you in every interaction in your life. Whether we like to admit it or not, people decide if they like us, if they trust us, if they want to work with us or be in relationship with us within the first few minutes of meeting us. Introverts like to believe their first impression happens the moment they start talking. But actually, your first impression happens the moment someone first sees you. When you hop on Zoom, when you walk into a room, when you walk into a meeting, those first 2 seconds of nonverbal presence change how people treat you. After analyzing thousands of first encounters, I found the fastest way to make a great first impression is the triple threat. These are the most important 3 nonverbal cues that you can do in the first few seconds that someone sees you. First is using open hand gestures. Second is eye contact. And third is a broad posture. Let's start with hand gestures. When humans first see each other, the first place they look is actually our hands. I think that the importance of hands is a remnant from our caveman days. When we were approached by a stranger caveman, if they held up their hand and signaled, friend, 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 they're not holding a weapon, a rock, or a spear. This instinct still remains. Here is the most important thing to do with your hands in the first 5 minutes. Visible. Avoid pockets. Don't cross your arms or have them hidden. Don't have them behind your back. Don't tuck them into a purse. When we see someone's hands, it actually makes us, the listener, relax. And here's why. If we can see someone's hands, we can see intention. We can see, are they about to shake our hand? Are they going to explain a concept like 2 ideas or 3 ideas, a big idea, a small idea? And so when we see someone's hands, it increases our trust, but it also makes you easier to listen to. And so the more visible you can have them, the better. The most important thing you can do when you first enter a room is the palm flash. This could be a wave, hello. This could be hopping on Zoom, good morning, or good afternoon. You're literally signaling to the other person's brain, you can trust me. You're showing you're not concealing anything. And so if you can show your hands out of pockets, visible first, people immediately are able to trust you. But we're also looking to hands to be a better listener. So if I were to say I have a big idea, I would look at hands to see, oh, how big is it? And we also want to know with a gesture, are you going to reach out and touch us? Are we getting a handshake? That looks like this. Are we just getting a wave because germ season? Are we getting a hug? That would be a double open. Or are we getting a fist bump, right? One fascinating thing I discovered about hands actually came from TED Talks. I love TED Talks, and I wanted to know if there was a difference between the most popular TED speakers and the least popular TED speakers just based on view count. So my team and I, my amazing team, we analyzed thousands of hours of TED Talks looking for patterns. The most popular speakers, those with the most views, use 70% more hand gestures than the least popular ones. The most popular TED speakers typically start their TED Talks like this. See if this looks familiar. Today, I want to talk to you about a big idea. I'm going to talk about 3 different things that could change your life. That's a TED Talk voice, and that's TED Talk gestures. And we are literally cued that this person, wow, they said they have 3 things to talk about. Those 3 things must really be really important. And what's funny about this is we actually give more weight to gestures. So for example, if I were to say, today, I have a very big idea. You would look at my gesture and be like, but Vanessa, it looks so small. Or if I were to say, today, I want to talk to you about 5 different ideas. And hold up the number 3, you're more likely to believe the 3 than the 5. A study in the Academy of Management Journal found that gestures can outweigh words in a pitch. You actually give 12.5 times more weight to my gesture than my words. In this way, very good TED speakers are cueing you to competence. They're saying, follow my gestures for an outline of my words, and that immediately makes you more magnetic and increases your impact. With your hand gestures on point, now it's time to perfect another key part of your first impression, the handshake. A handshake is so critical to building trust, if you can do it. And by the way, most people think that they can do a handshake on the first time meeting, but I recommend a handshake every time you meet, even if it's someone you already know. A quick one shows someone, I trust you, I want to be palm to palm. Take a look at some of these handshakes. These work because they're firm without being forceful and convey confidence and warmth. Our thumbs were pointed towards the sky. You never want to flip a handshake to the side. If I were to shake your hand like this, it would be more dominant. If you flip someone up, it makes them feel very vulnerable. You also might notice that when you already know someone, you usually do a single pump. Nice to see you. When you don't know someone, you're meeting someone for the first time, we typically do 3 pumps. Nice to meet you. This is the hardest part of a handshake, is how firm is too firm. So I want you to think about, how hard do you squeeze a peach, right? You squeeze until there's a little bit of firmness. The worst thing you can do is have a limp dead fish handshake where you leave your hand limp and you don't squeeze them back. You want to match them firmness to firmness. You don't want to over squeeze, but you want to show them, I'm here to match and mirror you. Now let's talk about the next pillar of the triple threat, eye contact. We often forget about eye contact when we're checking our phone, or we're looking around the room, or we're overhead gazing, or on Zoom, we look at ourselves or our notes and not the camera. So eye contact, especially in those first few seconds, as you walk in, try to make that mutual gaze. It immediately builds what's called oxytocin. Oxytocin is the chemical of trust. When we make eye contact, we immediately build the chemical that we need to be able to trust the other person. Even as babies, before we can speak, before we can say a word, gaze is critical to our neural development. Researchers even found that when babies make eye contact with their mother, they have a special kind of neurological activity. This means that when you make eye contact with people, you are literally stimulating thinking. Take a look at these 3 photographs. Who are you most drawn to? Who would you hire? Who would you want to be friends with? You might notice they're all the same person, but gaze can make us look completely different. Actually, there's really interesting research on this, that the same person, photographed different ways with different nonverbal cues, can make you have completely different impressions of them. Direct gaze is all about signaling engagement. You're basically saying to someone, I want to understand you. When you're making eye contact, you can read their facial expressions, you can build oxytocin, you can build trust, and you're also saying, all of my attention is on you. This is why we get so irritated with phubbing, right? Having our phone on the table and just briefly glancing away. Every single time someone glances away, we lose engagement. Or if someone overhead gazes while they're talking to you, you immediately feel disrespected, feel like, oh, this person isn't really with me. A gift you can give someone in those first few minutes is eye contact, especially when they say their name and who they are. There's research showing that in Western cultures, the sweet spot for eye contact is about 60 to 70%. That's enough where we feel like we're building trust, but we still allow for, some thinking, or maybe a glance across the room, or a glance at our food, or a glance at our drink. You do not, please do not, have to make 100% eye contact. 100% eye contact is creepy. It's invasive. You want to try to make eye contact on your most important points and on their most important points. Anecdotally, I've noticed very powerful people do a specific kind of eye contact. When they're thinking about something, they might glance up or process, but at the very end of their statement, they make a lot of eye contact. So try this, where you're thinking about something and you're brainstorming, and then you look right at the other person right at the end of your point. But there's a secret benefit to making eye contact, and it's that you become a better decoder. When you make eye contact, you're able to observe the hundreds of muscles that are around our eyes, and we are so good at detecting emotions from eyes. In fact, researchers found that when they paired angry eyes with a smile, people were more likely to believe the angry eyes. So when you're making eye contact, your brain is also doing all kinds of calculations and decoding for the emotions that you should pick up, whether you even realize it or not. Averting gaze is also a power cue. You can use this on purpose to signal disengagement, disinterest, or disagreement. So for example, if I'm negotiating and I don't like the number that someone offers, or I don't like something they say, I might avert my gaze and look down as a subtle way to show I'm not into this. And it actually signals to them that they might have to negotiate with themselves. It's a great power move. The final key to the triple threat and making a killer first impression is posture. Your posture is the single most important cue for signaling confidence to others. One research study out of the University of British Columbia looked at winning and losing athletes. And they found that when athletes won a race, they took up as much space as possible. They broadened their chests, they usually tilted their face towards the sky, and they might have even exclaimed with their hands. This is a universal signal of pride. The reason why we want to take up space in our first impression is it looks more like a winner. They found the opposite with losing athletes. So losing athletes, they tend to take up as little space as possible. They crumple in, they roll their shoulders in, they tilt their chin towards their chest, and they often have a pained expression. The biggest mistake that people make when they enter a room is they shrink. They roll their shoulders up, they sink their head down, they might even tilt their chin down and tightly pin their arms to their side. This first impression looks like panic, or defeats, or nervousness. What I want you to do, this is a really weird measurement, is I want you to maximize the distance between your earlobes and your shoulders. This distance shows I have my head up, I have my shoulders down, and it also gives you more breath and more expansion, which is gonna help you for your hello and your opening line. And so it is critically important that we try to stand more broadly because that is the universal sign of pride. This is expanding the distance between our shoulders and our ears, expanding the distance between our torso and our arms, and expanding the distance between our chin and our chest. Another rule of thumb that you can use is placing your feet or planting your feet about 3 inches wider than you normally would. This is gonna feel maybe a little odd at first, but it actually grounds you. It makes you more firmly planted, and that comes across through your entire body, your voice, your posture, your stance. We wanna make it seem like you are here to stay. We like people who feel like they are claiming the ground they're on. So if you're standing broadly, hip width apart. If you're seated, a nice relaxed pose, your legs can be crossed as long as it looks like you are stable. Many folks have heard about power posing, which is standing like a superhero, standing like a starfish before an important meeting or an important interaction. I like the power pose, but if I were to hop on Zoom and go like this, good morning, it might look a little socially aggressive. So I prefer to dial down and use just expansive posture. If you're walking into a room, great, claim your space. If you're seated in a chair, use those armrests, broaden your chest, make sure your head is held high. Seated or standing, we love broad posture. I want to introduce you to Ariana. She's going to demonstrate the triple threat in action. Pay close attention to her tone, posture, and presence. You're gonna see how even some of these small cues can completely transform her presence and make her more impactful. Tell me about you.
So I am an employee at a health company. I am a call center agent. So I'm currently working my way back into school. I was in school for nursing and now I want to go back.
Nice. Okay. All right. This is a fun one. What is your biggest career strength?
I want to say that I am adaptable. You can throw me in any environment. I feel like I'll click naturally.
What is your biggest career weakness?
Probably moving too fast.
Moving too fast, okay. She was taking up as little space as possible. She almost was trying to shrink into her chair. She also didn't show me her hands. She had a beautiful smile, but she wasn't showing me all of her hand gestures. She also wasn't taking up enough space. Okay, so in these kind of situations, we're nervous, right? I want you to take up more space. So you're taking up as little space as possible. So your arms are tightly to your side. I want to see some space between your torso and your arms. I want you to roll your shoulders down and back. And then I want you can even put your hands on the table if that feels natural to you. Also, when you have your hands on the table, it's going to make you want to use them, which I like. Okay, let's try again. Yeah. Let's watch how these small changes impact Ariana's entrance into the room. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Please take a seat. It is so nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I would love to hear everything about you. So tell me, what do you do?
So I am a call center agent for a health company.
Ariana's second take is a big improvement. She's sitting tall with confident posture, making strong eye contact, and her visible hands add a sense of openness and warmth. A study from the University of Victoria found that researchers could predict a job candidate's success just by watching their body language. Looking at the space they take up, the gestures they use, the eye contact they make. In fact, if we take up little amount of space, we tend to think that person would not be a good job candidate, and then we don't want to hire them. Let's pretend you're walking to a job interview. Your first few seconds matters before you even answer the questions. First, as you're waiting in the waiting room or outside the door, I want you to take up as much space as possible. Try to use a chair with armrests. I love armrests because it immediately adds more space. Lower your shoulders, make expansive posture. Then make sure you have your hands visible and ready so they can be at rest, or you can use a greeting, morning, happy to be here. And then make sure you're making eye contact with that person from the moment they first see you. All the cues in the triple threat can be used on video calls. Let's meet Jason. He's a public library executive director. This is his digital first impression. What cues do you notice?
I absolutely love being a librarian, mainly because of the chaos that's involved.
Jason's open hand gestures instantly made him more likable and relatable, even over video. They signaled honesty, confidence, and trust. Gestures on video are the same as in person, meaning you should keep them in the strike zone. The strike zone is the area underneath your chin to basically the top of your waist. So you want to keep your gestures in the frame in the strike zone. That's our favorite sweet spot for gestures. I do not like a virtual background. I would rather you clean your background and have a real background than a virtual background. Here's why. You make a hand gesture and your hand disappears. You lean back and half of your face gets cut off. Also, when I see a virtual background, I'm always wondering, what's really back there? And my brain goes to the worst possible place. So if you can, make it real. At your next work or social engagement, try some of the tools we talked about in this lesson. Combine the triple threat and see how it affects connections with others. In this lesson, we've learned how to make a killer first impression in the first 5 minutes of meeting someone by using what I call the triple threat. Using intentional hand gestures, direct eye contact, and taking up space with a broad posture. I'm a recovering awkward person, and in 2007, I realized I had to start studying for people. It actually helped my income, my respect, my ability to get promotions, my ability to ask for what I was worth. And so people skills are career skills. And the science backs it up. 85% of job success stems from soft skills, not technical know-how. Research from Harvard, Stanford, and the Carnegie Institute shows that people skills are the biggest driver of financial success and upward mobility. Anyone can learn people skills. I'm here to prove it. I realized I wasn't doomed to be an awkward person for the rest of my life. If I learned soft skills like hard skills, I could learn to connect with anyone, and so can you. I've had the privilege of shadowing some very powerful people, and one of my favorite moments was shadowing an incredibly powerful, profitable CEO around his company, and I couldn't believe the impact he had in each and every room. He would walk into a room and it was like his charisma was contagious. Literally everyone in the room became better around him. And that's my goal for you, that no matter what role you're in, you're a leader. Leaders are contagious. So if you show up with these 5 power moves, you become more positively contagious. You make other people level up with you. Here are the cues we can learn from powerful leaders. Fronting, mirroring, leaning, leveling, and nonverbal bridges. This is what we want to use in our presentations, in our meetings, in our one-on-ones, in our peer reviews, on our dates, in our conversations with people. These are the cues that make you more memorable. Fronting is a great cue because it can be done anytime, anywhere. And this is angling your toes, your torso, and your head towards the person who's speaking. Now, what's funny about this cue is I've observed many people in action. Most people think they are fronting all the time. They say, "What do you mean, Vanessa? I'm always angled towards the person I'm speaking with." And then we accidentally check our computer over here, or we call hello over our shoulder. We don't realize actually sometimes we withhold fronting, and that is the ultimate sign of nonverbal disrespect. So make sure when someone enters a room, try literally turning your entire body, toes to top, all the way towards them. You can also use toes to show politely disengagement. Let's say that someone's in a meeting and they're talking too much and you want to show them, okay, it's time to move on. You can subtly angle your body and your toes towards the person who's next, towards the presentation, or towards the exit. It's a very subtle way of saying, okay, your turn is up. There are some occupations where this is critically important. One of my dear friends, Kofi Essel, is a pediatrician, and he often is dealing with multiple people in the same room and of different ages. He might have a child with a caregiver and a parent and a grandma all in the same room, but he makes it a priority with his engagement protocol. The very first thing you want to do in your engagement protocol is making sure no matter who is speaking in the room, you are turning your body towards them when they are speaking. When you are speaking, it's your choice. In fact, if you can subtly angle towards everyone, almost like you're giving everyone a nonverbal sweep, it's like gifting little bursts of engagement. Jason is a librarian, so he often has people approaching him from far away when he's in the middle of work. Notice his reaction as I approach him, playing the role of a library patron. Hey. Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Okay, so my daughter, can I say it? Okay. My daughter, she's 6.5 and she loves ghosts.
Okay.
So do you have any resources for little ones who like ghost books but aren't too creepy?
I don't, but I can definitely get you to a children's librarian who can help you out with that.
Notice in the first approach, he doesn't turn his body towards me, which just subtly makes me feel like I'm bothering him. Maybe he doesn't want to engage with me, which is going to make me shut down. My biggest worry as a human being is, do you want to interact with me? And so when I walk in and you're focused here, I feel like I'm interrupting you. So the best gift you can give someone is you can angle your chair towards me, even as I approach, and give me a nice open palm flash. Hi, come on in. Let's watch Jason try this interaction again using the fronting power cue. Hi.
Hello, hi, how are you?
I have a couple questions for you. Can I ask?
Please come sit.
Oh, thank you so much. So my daughter, she's 6.5. She loves a ghost. Do you have any creepy books that might be appropriate for her age?
I think the best way to get you help will be to bring you to a children's librarian.
Okay.
I'll take you over there, and that way we can learn together.
Perfect. I felt welcomed. I felt greeted. I actually felt like you wanted to see me. In the second one, he turns his entire body towards me, and he makes me feel like, I belong here. That's gonna make me more open, more engaged, and make me like him more. A lot of people ask me, how do I build rapport quickly? Fronting is the key. The moment you align with someone, so toe to toe, you're like on parallel lines, it is a very quick way of building rapport and engagement. So no matter where you are in the room, and especially if you're pitching an idea, you want to show someone we are physically aligned. We are physically on the same page. That's going to help you get emotionally aligned. If we're physically aligned, getting to emotional alignment or agreement is going to be so much easier. So make sure, whether you're on video or you're in person, you are turning your body towards the other person. The next important cue is mirroring. Mirroring is when we subtly mimic or copy the person in front of us. So we can do this 3 different ways. We can do it non-verbally. We can mirror or mimic someone's gestures, their posture, their facial expressions. We can do it vocally by copying or mirroring or mimicking their voice and how they speak. And lastly, we can echo the words they use. We can repeat the types of words they're using. I like to think of mirroring as a sign of respect, and you have to do it subtly. No one wants, Simon Says. We all want to see that someone is subtly matching us. I like to think of matching someone's energy. Let's say if someone's using a lot of gestures and they're very expressive with their face and they have lots of volume and they're very dynamic, I might dial up to use more gestures to match their facial expressiveness to speak more quickly. But let's say that you have the opposite. Someone is speaking more slowly. They use a bit of a lower volume. In fact, they don't use many hand gestures at all. I might dial down to match and mirror their energy level. I lower my vocal tone, I lower my volume, and I echo the words that they use. One of my favorite power cues is echoing the last few words that someone said in their answer. So if you ask them, so what do you do? And they say, oh, I'm a pediatrician in Boston. You can say, oh, that's wonderful. What got you started as a pediatrician in Boston? Do you like it? You're subtly, slowly repeating their words to show I am listening so much that I'm actually using the words that you use. Let's take a look at mirroring in action. We're gonna meet Adiri, an insurance adjuster. I talked to them about mirroring to help him really establish rapport immediately because he often has to deal with people in peril or who are emotionally fragile. I'm so happy to have you here, and I would love to ask you about your work strengths. What makes you feel confident? How you stand out at work?
With my work strengths, I'm very communicative. I like to manage expectations with the clients that I work with.
Notice how Adiri has his hands under the table.
I'm also very action-oriented, so I like to go ahead and get ahead of things before, actually it piling up on me. So
Now watch how I make my hands visible. This signals how I'm listening and engaged with him.
that's one of the things that I would say are my top 3 strengths.
Okay, I love it. So I'm gonna ask you again about your work strengths. And this time I want you to subtly, and the key is subtle, mimic and mirror what I am doing. So for example, like I have my hands on the table, you might pull your hands up on the table. If I'm nodding, you could nod with me, just subtly mirroring and mimicking.
Let's do it.
So tell me about all of your work strengths. What makes you feel confident and good at work?
Yeah, so I'm very communicative when it comes to my clients that I work with. I like to be very straightforward and manage expectations.
See how he mirrors my hands? Instantly, he seems more engaged and charismatic.
It kind of eliminates any kind of back-end miscommunication or any issues.
Okay, that was great. And so your hands were on the table, which was great. I saw you nodding more. I even liked you gesture a lot out here. And so if I were mirroring you, I would do the same thing. So you were using this, I don't know if you noticed that you use this a lot.
Okay.
I would mirror that to just show you I non-verbally respect you. When you mirror someone, it shows I respect you so much. I literally want to be as you. I want to hear about your ideal work day.
First thing I like to do is check my emails. Once the emails are checked, I like to see what I have on my dashboard for the activities.
So you're a to-do list guy.
Yes.
That's your dashboard. Got it.
I work in insurance, so I'm planning for one thing the prior day, and then the actual day is a whole bunch of other things that I need to address. So looking at what I need to do, top priority items, and addressing those first. Typically when I do that, it sets up for a pretty smooth day.
He's sitting up straight and taking up space. He's talking with his hands, and you can see here he's nodding. These are all great cues. It signals deep listening. This is great for connection. What's amazing is mirroring has a financial advantage. MIT researchers tracked salary negotiations, and they found that when someone mirrored the person they were negotiating with, they earned 20 to 30% more salary. They also rated the entire experience as more positive. Here are a couple tips. One is you want to mirror the things that you already naturally do. For example, if you notice that someone is using a lot of hand gestures and you also love using gestures, you can dial up your gestures. Be sure not to mirror or mimic things that are not natural to you or things that feel fake or inauthentic. If you don't actually feel happy about something, I don't want you to just fake smile back. Another tip is to verbally mirror power words. These are words that have emotion or storytelling importance or words that you think matter to the other person. So if someone mentions something that's very important to them emotionally or in a negotiation, mirroring those power words almost gives them more oomph, more emphasis, and that's going to make you more impactful. An example would be, let's say you're in a salary negotiation and the other person says, we would really like to make sure that we have concessions built into this contract. In fact, our CEO says it is paramount to make sure that we have enough wiggle room on the budget. Okay, the power words I hear there are the CEO, because the CEO is in charge, concessions, and wiggle room on budget. So I might say back, I absolutely get it. So for your CEO, we know that concessions and wiggle room on budget is key. Here's how we're going to make that happen. I find mirroring the most powerful when I don't understand where someone is coming from. And here's what happens. If I am sitting with someone and I don't really understand their perspective, maybe we disagree, or I don't understand where they're coming from, if I start to non-verbally mirror them or use the same words they're using, I begin to feel as them. I lean in when they lean in. I maybe use more expressions when they use expressions. I copy their words. It helps me physically, literally put myself into their shoes. It helps me feel their mindset. And I've noticed that's been a key to more deeply understanding something. Mirroring is one of the fastest ways to increase empathy. If you don't know where someone's coming from, try subtly mirroring or matching them and see how you feel. You might be tapping into exactly where they're at. One of my favorite, most overlooked cues is the lean. And this is because a lean is like a nonverbal bold or highlight. When you lean in, you are showing someone that you are emphasizing what is being said. And that cues the other person's brain to also want to lean in, whether that's physically or emotionally. Researchers found that this even changes your own brain. So when you lean in, it activates a part of your brain that is pre-action. If we want to activate our five senses, smell something, taste something, hear something, we lean in. Can I hear you? Can I smell that? Can I taste that? So if you want to show someone, I agree with you, I feel you, I hear you, tell me more, you can lean in person, on camera, seated, standing, on stage. The lean always works. Now, there is too much of a good thing. Just like you wouldn't want to highlight an entire page of a book, you only want to lean in when it actually matters. Otherwise, I like a neutral, straight up position. It shows confidence, it shows poise. Only lean in when you actually feel agreement or emphasis. Remember, leaning is a cue that influences how people feel about you. It shows you're engaged and also makes them feel more engaging.